Hey guys, welcome. My name is Emily, and today I have for you a yoga session all about the feet, right? So we will stretch things out, we will loosen things up, we will work especially on the feet, but also a little bit on the ankles, maybe even the calves. Okay, so you will want a few things for this practice. So you could have a yoga strap or a towel. I just have a hand towel here. We'll use that near the end of class. And then some sort of ball, a relatively hard ball. So if you have a tennis ball, that will work. I have an actual myofascial release ball, but a a lacrosse ball or a tennis ball will work just fine. Okay, so we're gonna start with the ball. So go get your ball, come back, and then here we go. So we're gonna start with just a little bit of myofascial release for the feet. So you're gonna take the ball on the ground. You can always do this seated as well. So if this ends up feeling really intense standing, then go ahead and sit down. And then we're just going to put the ball right underneath of the right foot. So right in kind of the arch, right? The broad part of the foot. And then we're just gonna roll it around, right? So you could roll your foot back and forth, side to side. But you're just exploring so that you can find any areas that you feel lots of tension, which there could be a lot of areas, okay? So you can always have your hand on a wall or on a chair to help give you a little bit more balance. And you're exploring the entire foot, so all the way from the base of the toes through the arch and into the heel. And everybody is going to have their own kind of little, let's call them problem areas, right? Areas that we'll work on. So if you find an area that feels a little bit more tense, stay in that area. Move around, press the foot down, and take a few big breaths in and out. Right, we tend to wear shoes every day. And so when we do wear shoes, right, our feet become kind of tight. They get really shrunken in, right? They're not allowed to just kind of spread out nicely. And so we have to kind of work on that. Here we have this big sheet of fascia that runs all the way from the base of our heel and inserts into, spreads out, fans out, and then attaches into each of our toes, right? So if we experience any kind of tightness in any part of that fascia, it's gonna affect the rest of the foot as well. Okay, spend about 10 more seconds on this side. So really find an area that feels perhaps a bit tender. Breathe into it for a moment, press into the ball. And then we'll switch sides. So just roll that ball over to the left side. Bring the left foot down. And again, just start maybe nice and easy to start. Just rolling the foot back and forth, side to side. And know that this side could be different. So maybe on the other side, you felt a lot of tension, a lot of tenderness right around, I don't know, let's say the heel of the foot. And maybe here it's more into the arch or maybe even to the ball of the big toe or something, right? So that's okay. Just explore, find what needs to be worked on this side. And remember, breathing is important. So if you find that you're pressing into an area and it's very tender and you can't get a big breath in and out, just back off a little bit, right? It can be hopefully, oh, it hurts so good kind of pain, not ouch, I can barely breathe pain, okay? Know the difference. There's a difference. So just keep moving around. We got another, 10, 15 seconds on this side. And you can always pause the video and spend more time, especially if, maybe one side feels more tender than the other. You can stop, you can spend more time on that foot. Spend a little bit more time exploring. Okay. And then we'll just roll the ball off to the side. You won't need it again in this class. But okay, so now we're gonna stay standing for just a moment. We're gonna roll the shoulders back and down, sit up nice and tall. And then we're going to plant the right foot. So lean into the right foot. You want that leg nice and strong. And then we're just going to take these ankle circles with the left foot. So the toes of the left foot can stay down. And it's kind of like we're drawing this big circle with our knee, right? With that left knee. So you might get some ankle cracks and pops. And then switch directions of that circle. And then from here, we're going to keep that right foot forward. We're going to step the left foot slightly back, bring the top of that left foot onto the ground so the toes will come down. Now you'll probably need to bend into that right knee a little bit more, and then press your hips forward and press that left foot down, the left toes into the mat. So you should get a nice stretch to the top of the foot and up maybe to the top of the ankle and even into the shin a little bit. So you can always press your hips a little bit more forward, maybe lean a little bit more back. And then come back through center. We'll just switch sides. So this time we'll stand onto that opposite leg, that left leg, nice strong leg. And then come to the right toes. And again, just kind of drawing that big circle with your knee so that we can roll out through the ankle. The toes stay down. And then switch directions of the circle. And then again with the top of the foot stretch. So we'll plant that left foot, we'll step that right foot back. The top of the right foot comes down onto the ground, the top of the toes come down onto the ground. Bend into that left knee and then press your hips forward so that you can get a little bit of weight down into that right foot and get a nice stretch through the front of the foot into the front of the ankle and the shin. Hand can always be on a chair or on your wall to help you keep your balance. And then we'll just come on out. Shake things out, and then we're just going to find a seat. So inhale, I want you to sweep your arms up towards the ceiling, and then exhale to your forward fold. Inhale to a flat back, but so bend your knees enough, hands can come down to the mat, and heel toe your feet towards the edges of the mat, and come down into a squat. So if your ankles, your hips, your feet, your whatever are really tight, maybe you don't even get the heels down on the ground here. That's okay. You can kind of keep the heels lifted and be in, this kind of froggy type of squat. Okay, we're just here for a moment. And then we'll walk the hands forward and bring one knee down, then the other knee down. So we're in our tabletop position. Okay. So wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath of hips, and then extend the right leg back behind you. The right toes will tuck under, and the toes will still be on the ground. And then from here, we're just going to send the heel back behind you, so we'll rock back, and then press into the toes and rock forward. So we're just going to do that a few times, get some nice opening through the calf, through the back of the heel, into the toes. And then we'll switch sides. So draw that right knee in, extend the left foot back, tuck the toes under on the ground, and then again, just find this rocking back and forth. So pulling back through the heel and then pressing forward through the toes. And then come back through center and find a seat. So just plop on down. Know that if this next part would feel more comfortable sitting up in a chair, then go ahead and do so, right? Make yourself nice and comfy. But otherwise, we've got our right leg crossed in, and I'm gonna kind of bring my left foot up. So I'm gonna prop it somewhere in my lap. I can support with my hands or whatever I need to do. I could even have a block maybe underneath of that left foot. Okay, then from here, I'm gonna take my right hand, and I'm going to slowly interlace my fingers of my right hand with the toes of my left foot. So I'm going to use my left hand, my left hand to kind of help wedge my fingers in between my toes. So that might mean that you're just getting your fingertips, like really the first knuckle in between the toes. And if this is way too much, then start with just maybe 2 fingers at a time, right? So a finger in between the thumb of your foot, your big toe, and the next toe over, right? So maybe you just put 2 of your fingers in between those toes and work that out for a little bit. Because this can be quite intense if it's the first time that you're doing it, or even if it's the 100th time that you're doing it. It could be pretty intense. But so we'll see if we can get all of our fingers in between our toes. And then just see if you can kind of spread your fingers apart. If it's too much, then don't spread the fingers, right? Maybe you just hang out here with the fingers in between the toes. And then from here, we're just going to see if we can kind of rock the toes forward and back. So we'll press the hand forward so that the toes flex back towards maybe like your shin, and then curl the toes in, and then open and close. So we're just kind of, it's like that yes motion in sign language, right? And then see if you can go side to side, right? Again, it probably won't be a lot of movement. Be nice and gentle, but it's just this kind of stretching side to side. Maybe in circles. And then here we go. So really grip with your hand. So tighten your hand as much as you can. Start to pull away. So I'm going to take my left hand to my right, my left hand to my left ankle. And then I'm going to pull back while I pull with my right hand. I'm going to pull until I just kind of release the hand from that foot. Okay. Whew. Maybe wiggle out, shake out that left foot. And then we're just going to switch sides. So we're going to bring the left foot in, and then we're going to stack maybe the right foot somehow on top. Again, maybe one side you could do this, and the other side you got to sit up in a chair or something. Go for it. And then we're going to start that interlacing process. So I'm going to interlace the left fingers into my right toes. So it's kind of like I'm trying to hold hands with my foot. Okay, so get as many of the fingers wedged in there as you can. And then you can always just stay here the whole time, right? Maybe you're just working on breathing through this part. But otherwise, see if you can maybe spread the fingers out. So we're spreading the toes wide, right? Very rarely do our toes get to spread like this. And then you can just start kind of that nodding of the foot, if that makes any sense, right? So we're just kind of pressing the toes back towards the shin, and then curling the toes in. And then maybe a little bit side to side if that feels okay. But remember, be nice and gentle. Go easy, especially at first while you're exploring. And then see if you can take those big circles. Maybe switch directions of the circle. And then we'll just come back through center. Really wedge your fingers in there as much as you can. Take your right hand to your right ankle so you can kind of hold it in place. Grip with that left hand, and then start to just pull away. So it's kind of like you're trying to pop your toes, right? Pull until your hand just kind of releases. And then give that right foot a little bit of a shake. Okay. So, last little bit here. We're going to take our... If you've got a yoga strap, cool. If you've got your towel, cool, grab it, whatever it is. And if you have none of those things, then my suggestion would be that you sit with your feet up against a wall and really flex your feet so that your toes are going up the wall as much as you can. But otherwise, I'm going to take my towel or my yoga strap. A yoga strap is going to be a little bit thinner, not as wide, but that is okay. So I'm going to spread it out long. I'm going to bring my right foot in so it just gives me a little bit more to work with here. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my towel and I'm going to wrap it up around my foot. So I'll see if I can make it so that you can kind of see what's going on here. So my heel is down on one end of the towel. That's going to hold it in place. My hand has the other towel, and I'm just going to pull back. So pull back and then maybe pull down towards the shin. So this is not only going to stretch out through the feet, right? So it's going to stretch out through the toes and the feet, but it's going to stretch out through the calf as well. Now, if this is way too much, because let's say it's not just your feet that are tight, maybe you're feeling really tight through your hamstrings and you can't sit like this, right? You could be sitting on the edge of the bed. So then in this case, your left leg would be up on the bed and your right foot would be on the ground supporting you, okay? But just keep pulling. Feel that big stretch. In fact, this one's really good for plantar fasciitis, right? Just stretching out through the whole bottom sheath of fascia like we were talking about. And then release, and we'll just switch sides. So again, this time that right foot goes on it, left foot can kind of come in. We'll reach down, right? Your right knee can always be bent here. And we'll grab onto the towel. And then again, I'll see if I can try to make it so you can maybe see this. We're just gonna pull back on the towel and then maybe pull down towards the shin. Again, if you're sitting up on a bed or on a table, the right leg is up on the bed, the left foot is on the ground supporting you. Okay, just pulling back, breathing into it. Get that stretch through the calf, get the stretch through the feet and the toes. And take a big breath in, let it go, and then release the towel. Throw it off to the side. And that is all that I have for you. So hopefully your feet are feeling nice and stretched out. And remember that your feet are your foundation, right? So if it affects your feet, if your feet are tight, it could have this rippling effect up the body, right? It could create tightness all through the back of the legs, into the hamstrings, the hips, the low back, possibly all the way up into the shoulders and the neck. So take care of your feet, okay? If you liked this video, hit the like button below. Comment with what else do you want to see on my channel? And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. All these things are somewhere down here. But other than that, have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time.